What it do, people? It's your boy Dre Day every day. And today, I'm going to hit you with let me stop doing that. So now, since I'm outside of my all time top five, these other artist analysis, they just going to be completely random based on how I feel or what's going on in the industry. And since game has been trending, I'm going to go ahead and do my artist analysis on the game. Now, game is a very he's an interesting subject. And Game, he does a lot of things that I don't agree with, but this is an artist analysis, so I'm focusing on what he does in the booth. Um and this guy right here is mad slept on. Um Game is one of the best bar for bar punchline rappers that I have ever heard in my life, and I don't hear his name in discussions enough based on his rapping. Possibly his antics are the reason why he gets left out of discussions, but I'm one of those people where it's like I grade art for the art. I don't grade art as what the person's personality that potentially everybody has something that I could strongly disagree with. So I separate art from artists. So now, with that being said, let's go ahead and break Game down. Game, I started with Game back in 2005 with what is that first album? The Documentary. And the actual first time I heard him, it was on the Certified Gangsters record with Jim Jones, and he killed that. Game is one of those rare rappers that I liked him when I first heard him, because for me it's a thing to hear a rapper and it take a few records or it takes a few tries for them to get my ear, and I usually don't like somebody as soon as I heard him. But Game is a rapper that I liked as soon as I heard him, and Game has like this ferociousness that he spits with that I really appreciate. And believe it or not, he became one of my favorite rappers within that fallout between him and G Unit, him and 50 Cent, and that onslaught of records that he sent in that G Unit campaign, that onslaught that he sent, and it was like Game was just really in his bag with just rapping and like 300 bars and running. That's If you ask me, I think that's possibly my favorite diss record of all time. And that's another thing. I think Game is I was gonna say the best, probably the best diss record rapper that's out, because Game goes in, and Game would give you 200, 300, 400. As a matter of fact, Game is like one of the most URL ready rappers that's out today. Like Game legit could just pull up to URL like I got 800 bars for whoever, and it's all gonna be entertaining. Like Game got some very hard punchlines. Now, to break Game down, his style wise, because Game does a lot of different things. On a fundamental level, Game is like Nas in terms of like the storytelling and being able to be interesting and kind of like giving all the details and kind of paying attention to everything. Game is like Nas, but he learned a lot under 50 Cent. Like the name dropping, he actually took that from 50 Cent. And if you want, you can go back and study 50 Cent when it comes to How to Rob. You take How to Rob, take his verse on Love Me on the 8 Mile soundtrack, and what's another record? She got a habit, she can powder her nose. Just a touch. With Funk Flex, 50 Cent, and Power Wall. Listen to the way 50 Cent name drops on that. And Game kind of took that and ran with it. And after that, 50 Cent stopped the name dropping. He just let Game run with that. But that name dropping was, I heard 50 Cent with that first. And he also kind of took some of that he learned some of that sing-songy stuff from 50 Cent. Game was one of those rappers that when he came out, he was good at just spitting with like a bunch of rappers. He could just spit and possibly needed somebody on his hooks. But as he progressed and matured with what he learned from 50, like Game is a really good songwriter now. He doesn't do much in terms of arrangement, but I'm just talking about his hooks are better post 50 Cent than it was prior to. And Game is a rapper that this is something you can either love or hate, but he raps when he features with an artist, he typically raps like the artist that he's featuring. And for some, they would say it's annoying. And for me, it's a bit annoying. It was annoying at first until I seen how he did it with so many different rappers. And then one day I just kind of looked like, and also as time progressed and you find out how many rappers have ghostwriters, I started really thinking like, how many rappers, how many people have Game ghostwritten for? And the style is so identical that you think that this is this rapper rapping with his own style when he possibly had hit up Game like, hey man, write me a verse. That's a thing. I can't put like I can't sit here and say that that's what happened, but when you just look at the frequency of it coming out, how rappers have used ghostwriters, it's like if Game would be one of those guys that could get your favorite rapper a 16 and you probably wouldn't even know it. That's just legit something to think about. And that's just interesting. I think that's cool. I had a um I was likening rappers to Mortal Kombat characters on a Facebook post some years ago, and Game specifically, I was like, Game is basically Shang Tsung. He would be like Shang Tsung of the rap game because Shang Tsung, he had his form and his fighting style, but based on all the souls he's collected, he could turn into any other character in the game and you would be it'd be like controlling that character. That is literally how good Game's style mimicking is. And away from that, Game has a lot of mixtape work that this guy does some hard spitting. Got some of the hardest punchlines that I've ever heard. Like what he say, be cool, cause when the heat's drew, them hollow tips will fuck up your stomach like seafood. My niggas hungry when they look at you, they see food. Give it up, or I see you in an ICU with a bed and some IVs too. Nursery teaching your ass how to chew. Fuck this rap shit, nigga, I got a shoe. Next color on the shelf is North Carolina blue. I'm getting married. She from North Carolina too, but you won't catch me in that North Carolina blue. If you see me in Raleigh, just sliding through, throw your rags in the air like North Carolinians do. Before you run up, think about what you're trying to do, cause the 12 gauge eat niggas like piranha food. On my son, I push your head backwards, cause I never ever ever be the next dead rapper. I'd rather be alive pushing some 2008 shit, cause you got to be dead in the box to be somebody's favorite. I ain't saying I'm about to go where Mace with, but you won't find me upside down on the pavement. I'm behind the desk on some J shit. Some niggas don't want me to shine. Can you say snitch? Black Wall Street niggas hop out and spray shit. AK spit. Get that Maybach a facelift. Now back to the basics. My flow so amazing. If it was 88 and I could rap, I'll wear you out like Asics. Where you at like them ugly ass babe shits. Funny ass jackets got the hood on some gay shit. Them look like Nikes with stars on them. Face it. The whole world blind. Everybody on that race shit. roll a blunt, get hired in a spaceship, touch the sky, nigga, I'm on that Kanye shit. Back in the jail, I used to bump Jazzo, run up on you, take your money and your skateboard. I was an asshole. Now I blast foe, leave him on his grass swole, kicking and pushing like Lupe Fiasco. I got a jab like Floyd, even Zab, no, try to play the game, get punched out like Glass Joe. Like, this dude, like, when he really gets to chewing on these in his verse, man, his punchlines go uh, riding around 10 can noodles on the Tahoe. And when we touch down, everybody catching spirals. Dressed in all black like the Panthers. We sing your sway freestyle. Melly ain't the answer. That was back with the Meek Mill disc from 2016. Game got some vicious and ferocious bars that it's like, I just don't understand how he doesn't come up in the punchline rapper conversation, especially when you mention the likes of the Ludacris's, the Fabulouses, the Cassidy's. Game is in that pocket, and yeah, Game is a, like I said, with what he's matured to, he's become a very good songwriter, and like I feel like for me, 1992 is Game's best music, and he's still on there rapping too, but when he really kind of got into his sample bag, and just thinking about how his style mimicking, he's like the perfect artist to be sampling, because he's just so good at recreating verses and well, not necessarily verses, but styles and things of that nature. It just makes sense that his best music it would be him making sample records. Um, Another thing with Game, like I said, he can really lay it on thick with like I said, just drop 400 bars on you just in his sleep. Um, and his albums are, he's always, I just think Game is just mad slept on. Like, I don't think he has any bad albums. Oh, what I will say that I'm not the biggest fan of is he does feature a lot. So there are opportunities where you get to hear he's rapping like somebody else on something, because for the thing is, I like Game better when he raps by himself and when he raps with his style. And so when he does feature somebody and he's rapping like the other person, it's kind of like, it's a bittersweet thing for me, because it's like I want to hear your style with the ferociousness on it. But like I said, that is what it is. Oh, like what's the album? Blood Moon. That Blood Moon record, it has like 19 songs on it and like 38 different artists on it. And I'm like, and I'm not the biggest fan of Posse Cuts myself, because well, we don't buy music. I'm the dinosaur that buys music in 2022, but I don't go to music to hear Posse Cuts and features. I go to the music to hear the artist that put the project out. So, like I said, that's a thing that kind of that's a knock against Game that for me that I don't like that he does. Then like I said, the style mimicking, I'm kind of up in the air about it. It's like, he's showing his ghostwriting chops, but I like his style so much that I want to hear him. He's great with storytelling. He's great with bar for bar punchlines, and like he doesn't really have many holes in his style. You know, the biggest issue you'll have with him is possibly like he changes his mind a lot. Like I said, you'll have probably, I have more of an issue with how he goes about doing things, like his decision making. But as far as like his rapping, Game is just he's one of my favorite rappers. Not in my top 5, and I wouldn't even consider this like me going straight into 6. I have other rappers that I would have possibly in that number 6 slot. This is just Game has been trending lately, and I was like, you know what? I started re-listening to his music, and I said, yeah, you know what? I'm finna go ahead and drop my artist analysis on Game. But yeah, he just got so many mixtapes, his albums. That, you know what? He possibly, another thing, a knock that I would possibly put on him is that he makes projects that are a little bit too long, like the Documentary 2 and Documentary 2.5. Now, when he put those out in 2015, he put them out as individual albums, and I believe they're a week or 2 weeks apart. But then he waited a few months and then released it as a double disc. He recorded it as a double disc, but put it out as 2 separate projects. I prefer it as 2 separate projects because I prefer 2.5 over 2. But those are both great projects. What else? And in his mixtapes, like the Perp and Patron mixtape, it was like a 2 disc. Well, it was like, I think 15 and 15. It was like 30 songs, and then he put out a Perp and Patron, The Hangover, and that had like another 10 or 12 songs. Like, this guy records a lot of music, and sometimes that bleeds into the way he crafts his projects. Like, and what was that? The Born to Rap from 2019. It's too much music, from my personal opinion. If he could kind of consolidate those, and like 1992 is Game's best work to me. Then my second favorite is Documentary 2.5. Then for 3, I'm gonna put Doctor's Advocate. Like, that's, and the thing about Doctor's Advocate is he took the approach like, damn, Dr. Dre, you won't put out Detox? I'm finna put out Detox. And basically, he's rapping with a Dr. Dre type of delivery through the entire project. So you could kind of look at, and more to what I was saying, his style mimicry, you could kind of look at Doctor's Advocate is what Detox would have sounded if it would have came out in that 2005, 2006 window. Then let me see. After Doctor's Advocate, Jesus Piece. I'm gonna put that as my number 4. Got some of my favorite records on there. I spoke on the Kendrick Lamar video. The Game featured Kendrick a lot. He really put on for Kendrick on his when Kendrick was coming up. Kendrick is on Jesus Piece. See No Evil. That's one of my favorite songs on there. What's my favorite song on there? It might be See No Evil. I'm not certain. Then the 5th spot is kind of tricky. Like, I want to say the first Documentary 2, not 2.5. I want to say that's 5th. Then I want to say the first Documentary from 2005. And then I want to say Operation Kill Everything, OKE. But the thing about that is, I kind of like the first 9 songs better than the rest of the project. So I don't know what project to put 5th. My first 4, though, those are secured. But Game is definitely a hell of a spitter. He can go bar for bar with almost anybody not named Lupe Fiasco. Well, Lupe Fiasco, Mickey Fax, Ab-Soul, Elzhi, Saha the Prince. Outside of that pocket, Game can probably go bar for bar with anybody. Because those guys that I just named, those are like the best. Those are the best pens that exist. It might be one or two names I'm forgetting. I might watch this and cringe because I left somebody's name out. But those names for sure, those are like they're like next level when it comes to this shit. But outside of that, man, Game deserves to be off in the conversation when it comes to bar for bar rap, when it comes to storytelling, music making. Game is a great artist. Possibly you not like the type of beats, I don't know. You know, I kind of go through this thing. I kind of go through this thing with all these rappers I talk about. I try to grade it at the raps, and to some capacity, I do. I have to like the beats. So, but when we break some of these words down, some of these punchlines, Game is like mad clever with his bar structure, his punchlines. Um, yeah, I don't. It's just not too many dudes that can rap that can out rap this dude. I just you just have to show it to me. Him and Joe Budden are kind of like neck and neck, like, and they almost remind me of each other. Cause Joe Budden is nice with the punchlines too, but Joe Budden hasn't been rapping in a good little minute. Joe Budden was like the best rapper in Slaughterhouse, but that's another discussion. But yeah, man, pick you up some Game, check it out. If you want to really hear Game spit, listen to like 300 bars and running. Listen to Face of LA. Listen to Pest Control. Like, so listen to his battle raps, like the raps where he's dissing somebody 92 bars. Game really Game brings that heat. And like I said, when he's pissed and he kind of rapping like a pit, it's almost like just listening to a pit bull just tearing some shit up when you hear Game when he really get on this shit. But yeah, man, check some of those records out. If you just haven't gave Game a serious listen, try to put whatever it is you feel about how he is, put that to the side and just sit down and just dissect some of his bars. And it's like, you'll see how he'll tear some of these rappers up. I just wish that his antics did not almost outweigh what he does in that booth, because that guy is dead serious. Man, if you're a Game fan, put some of your favorite records in the comments, some of your favorite projects. Let's just have a discussion about it. But Game is definitely a top rapper that can out rap almost anybody on any given day, even to this day. But that's all I got for this, man. Peace.